together for them. And of course, the musical legend whose group will entertain us this afternoon, Mr. Sparrow Martin. We invite you now to relax and enjoy the afternoon's proceedings, but we endeavor to keep this program moving right along. We know you want to stay here until later for cocktails. However, lunch will do. So let me begin by inviting our CCRP Director, Mrs. Patricia Reedwall, to offer a word of prayer and to introduce the national anthem of Jamaica. Mrs. Reedwall.
If you're able to, please stand for prayer. Heavenly Father, we lift our hearts to you in praise and thanksgiving this day. We are grateful that the opportunity has finally come for us to once again meet in this manner, to fraternize, give hugs and kisses, and to fellowship in the way we love to do. We thank you, Lord, for the lives and work of our living legends who have given so much of themselves to service here at home and abroad. As we observe the many accomplishments of our honorees, we acknowledge that none of it would have been possible without your blessings on their lives, and for this we give you thanks. We thank you for our organization, the CCRP, the vision of our chairman, Mrs. Jean Laurie Chin, that she turned into action. We thank you for enabling the administration, staff, and members to keep it strong and resilient, even in the many challenging situations that the organization would have faced over the years. And finally, Lord, we ask your continued blessing on our country, Jamaica, land we so love. And as we contemplate the negative influences that seek to tear the fabric of our national life, we know that there are many positive influences working to build a stronger nation. And so, Lord, we lift our voices prayerfully at this time as we join in the singing of our national prayer, the national anthem.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil's power. Be our light through countless harm. To our leader, great defender, grant through wisdom from
indeed, our national prayer, our national anthem. We now invite the CCRP founder and executive chair, Mrs. Jean Laurie Chin, who will now give us the official welcome. Mrs. Laurie Chin.
Jamaica land we love. What a beautiful anthem we have. Master of Ceremonies, Ms. Joan McDonald, distinguished Living Legacy honorees, special awardees and your guests, fellow CCRP board directors and team members, representatives of our sponsors, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful good afternoon to you all, and welcome to our Jamaica 60 Living Legacy Awards event. A special welcome to our honorees, Mrs. Winifred Chambers Dyer, Mrs. Beryl Chavans, Mr. Howard Hamilton, Mr. Gary Butch Hendrickson, Mrs. Eleanor Jones, Mr. Peter Mays, Ambassador Alun Dombe Asamba, Dr. Blossom O'Mealy Nelson, Mrs. Claudette Richardson Pius, Professor Honorable Maureen Sams Vaughan, and Dr. Arnaldo Ventura. As we consider these extraordinary Jamaicans, we can drink deeply from their wellspring of inspiration. Jamaicans who have gone beyond the call of duty to give back to their beloved country. We also welcome past Living Legacy honorees. Their names were called, but I'm mentioning them again. Mrs. Vilma McDonald, Mrs. Merrill Hanson, Dr. Owen James, Mr. Glenn Christian, Mr. and Mrs. Norman Jarrett. We're also delighted to give awards of appreciation to Mrs. Sandra Bailey, who initiated the CCRP Comprehensive Health Plan, and former General Manager of JNGI, Mr. Christopher Hind, who brought us the Silver Shield Plan. Our first health insurance plan was conceived by our late beloved board director, Mr. Michael Fraser, and we welcome his wife, Mrs. Bonnie Fraser, who will present the Living Legacy Award for Philanthropy named in his honor. We at CCRP now have close to 12,000 members throughout Jamaica, with chapters in Western, Northeast, and Central Jamaica. We thank our over 70 discount partners who have brought financial relief to our members. As you may know, CCRP has been advocating for elderly protection laws. A recent survey of our members revealed that elderly abuse could be increasing. And we are encouraged that a revised national policy has been tabled and that we have been invited to join a working group towards the creation of this important legislation. We have also been in touch with the Ministry of Finance and Planning, seeking tax relief for Jamaica's pensioners who are feeling deeply the burden of inflation. Our mission at CCRP includes the affirmation of our seniors who have been our nation builders. Therefore, we are here to honor these Jamaicans, some of whom have hardly been recognized for their invaluable contribution to community and country. A big thank you to the supporters of this event, Gallagher Insurance Brokers, BPM Financial, and Procom, ever in our corner. Heartiest congratulations to our honorees. I wish you and your family members and friends an enjoyable afternoon. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Founder and Chairman, CCRP, Mrs. Laurie Chin. Ladies and gentlemen, lunch is being served. Bon appetit. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is the Spar Martin Group. On drums, we have Andrew Martin. Put your hands together for him. Yeah. And keyboard, we have Mr. Donovan. Blessings.
I'm standing here. It is so remiss of me. I mentioned Living Legacy awardees, and I did not mention our beloved Irene Walter. Give us a wave, Irene. Yes, Irene is also a Living Legacy awardee. Thank you.
so much. Thank you. You're listening to the music of the band Skisonic Sparrow Martin Band. We are available for any engagement that you need for us to do for you. Christmas engagement, New Year's, birth night, wedding, everything. Thank you, Sparrow Martin, Skisonic Band. Could you put your hands together again for the band? Yes. Thank you. And now we're going to continue with our music.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're living large around here. And while we're waiting on our just desserts, don't see it yet, but I see here cinnamon chocolate cake served with Tia Maria sauce and chocolate cigars. How decadent. Please put your hands together for the Jamaica Pegasus. Lovely food so far. And we look forward to the sweet treats. Yes, we have to have desserts. And, you know, it's a Sparrow Martin over there. Him not easy, you know. He was entertaining us, putting a little more oil in the lamp. I hear songs my parents used to sing and when they were in love too. I don't know a thing about it, I'm a child. Tell me, darling, tell me you love me so. Did you hear that? Oh, yeah, that was one of the records that they used to play on a 78 at my yard once upon a time. Big people things me listening to, you know. And, of course, leaving me standing with a broken heart. How about that? Did you hear that? Yeah, did you hear that song? Leaving me standing with a broken heart. No, I'm not singing for you today. No, we will have to have a penny concert where you all throw your special amounts of monies this way to hear me sing. But again, ladies and gentlemen, Sparrow Martin Group, put your hands together. They did entertain us. And we're having fun. We have several doctors in the house. We have several nurses also. One very serious nutritionalist. I'm not looking at her because I don't want to hear what I'm not supposed to eat. I would like to indulge today. And we're having fun because there's at my table an orthopedic surgeon right there, just in case you buck your toe. or, you know, anything untoward. We have a lot of advisors in the house and a lot of people who can set you straight and flying, just so that you're enjoying the rest of the day. To Mrs. Sandra Bailey, consultant at Gallagher Insurance Brokers Limited, and we take great pleasure in presenting this award to Sandra for her support of CCRP and the creation of the comprehensive health insurance plan for the CCRP members. Yeah, we're all enjoying that, aren't we? The insurance plan for sure. The presentation to Mrs. Bailey will be done by Mr. Warren McDonald. Mrs. Sandra, you are wonderful. Congratulations and a thank you, Sandra, for the creation of the CCRP Comprehensive Health Insurance Plan. Again, we're all enjoying that. Those of us who are so privy, if you're not on the plan, please speak to me off the air. You need to be covered here. And also, ladies and gentlemen, our second special award is to Mr. Christopher Hind. Mr. Hind, where are you? Oh, there you are. It is with great pleasure that we present this award of appreciation to Christopher Hind for his support of CCRP and the introduction of the JNGI Silver Shield Motor Vehicle and Property Insurance Plan. Yay! Clap him. Put your hand. Mrs. Patricia Reed-Waugh, our board member, will present to Mr. Hind. Sorry? Okay, and again, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have the pleasure again of Mr. Sparrow Martin ensemble, just for a wee bit of time. Sparrow, are you that, you know? Come, leave us again, not standing here with a broken heart. We don't want to have a broken heart, just some more music so that we can segue into the rest of the awards. A little bit of style. Put your hands together for them again, ladies and gentlemen, please. Of course it is. We planned for it, and the day is here, and every little thing is going to be all right. Okay. Just want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, you can text your family and friends and let them know that we're live, being live streamed on PBCJ right now. So tell them that you're here, you're having a good lunch, you're having a good time, you're being awarded, and your children and great-grandchildren, your godchildren, and everybody in foreign can tune in now and see you. Or it's on the Facebook page, the PBCJ Facebook page. Okay? Right about this time, ladies and gentlemen, again, can we settle down as we receive the overview by Mrs. Vilma McDonald. She is the chair of the CCRP Living Legacy Awards Selection Committee, and Mrs. McDonald will give us an overview of all that's transpired to select and highlight our honorees this afternoon. Mrs. Vilma McDonald, ladies and gentlemen.
Distinguished honorees and guests, ladies and gentlemen, it was my great pleasure to serve once again as the chair of the CCRP Living Legacy Awards Selection Committee. As you may know, each year we ask our members to submit nominations for these awards. This year, we received some 20 nominations, all of whom are outstanding Jamaicans. I thank my fellow committee members, Mrs. Karen Gauntlet. Mrs. Gauntlet, you are sitting, please stand so they know who you are, and Mrs. Laurie Chin, for serving on the committee. We had the difficult decision to whittle down to 11 legacy recipients, and we will certainly consider the other 9 nominees for future awards. We are pleased that our honorees are from various walks of life, private and public sector, non-governmental organizations, and voluntary positions. On reading the nominations, we were deeply moved by their generosity of spirit and are pleased to hold them up as beacons for their fellow Jamaicans. We also looked back at persons who had brought great benefit to CCRP and decided that we should honor Mrs. Sandra Bailey, a director of Gallagher Insurance Brokers Caribbean, who first broached the idea of a health plan for our members and has gone the extra mile to engage them. We are also presenting an award of appreciation to Mr. Christopher Hind, former general manager of J&GI, who collaborated on the Silver Shield plans exclusively for our CCRP members. I take this opportunity to warmly welcome and congratulate all our honorees, and I now invite our young readers to present the citations. Please enjoy the rest of the afternoon. God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, at last year's awards, our honoree Professor Peter Figueroa, encouraged us to include young people in our activities. And so we have chosen this year 3 excellent young persons to read the citations for the awards. They are Raquel Simpson, Zara Boxill, and Brandon Hewlett. We now move into the Living Legacy Award with honorees in alphabetical order. Mrs. Winifred Chambers Dyer, who will receive the Syringa Marshall Burnett Award for Health, named for the late educator, President of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, and President of the Senate and Foundation CCRP Board Director. Mrs. Chambers Dyer, please come forward and sit in our chair here, grand chair for you, as Ms. Simpson reads the citation.
Excellent, determined, dedicated, and hardworking are some of the adjectives that describe this extraordinary nursing professional, Mrs. Winifred Chambers Dyer. Mrs. Chambers Dyer studied at the Schools of Nursing at Bellevue and Kingston Public Hospitals. Her ambition to excel in the field of nursing saw her acquiring certifications in midwifery, community eye health, and a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing administration from the University of the West Indies. She started her nursing career at the Bellevue Hospital in 1969 and moved to the Kingston Public Hospital the following year, where she gave 33 years of outstanding service. Mrs. Chambers Dyer was promoted to nursing sister in 1978 and was the unit manager of clinics, wards and accidents, and the emergency department for 8 years. In 1996, she became a departmental sister and was the manager for the surgery department for 5 years. Subsequently, she was promoted to acting deputy matron and then to deputy matron in 2002, retiring in 2003. After retirement, Mrs. Chambers Dyer was eager to continue her contribution to the field of nursing. In 2005, she was re-employed as operating theater and renal unit manager with responsibility for the efficient management of 15 operating theaters at the Kingston Public Hospital and the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. One of her duties included collecting and presenting data to the Chief Executive Officer, which formed part of the monthly report sent to the regional office and the Ministry of Health. She served in this capacity until 2013. She assisted in establishing the eye clinic at the Jamaica Society for the Blind, the JSB, and served in the clinic for several years. She made several outreach visits within the Southeast Regional Health Authority to identify and refer persons with visual problems to the JSB clinic or KPH for care. Mrs. Chambers Dyer was a member of the Prevention of Blindness Committee of the Ministry of Health and was a member of the team which amended the current Opticians Act. she has assisted the Ministry of Health in identifying suitable candidates for studying in the field of ophthalmic nursing. One of her most challenging assignments was her trip to Montserrat during the island's Soufrières Hills volcanic eruption in 1997, when she served as the team leader for 6 nurses. She described the conditions as euphemistically less than ideal, as there was much displacement and local health personnel had migrated with their families to other countries. Mrs. Chambers Dyer worked with the medical teams in the players' medical stations at Sabina Park during International Cricket Council approved matches and the International Association of Athletics Federation meets at the National Stadium for several years. Now, Mrs. Chambers Dyer is an active member of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, the NAJ, and is currently treasurer of the Retired Nurses Special Interest Group of the NAJ. This dynamic professional, Mrs. Chambers Dyer, has been a very active member of the Anglican Church as well. Over the years, Mrs. Chambers Dyer has been recognized by several organizations for excellence in her field. She received the John Ward Award for Nursing Excellence as a graduate who did exceptional work at KPH. She also received the Dr. Ina Thomas Award for Excellence, given to a registered nurse practicing at KPH. She has received several awards from the Lions Club of Kingston, the Government of Jamaica, the Kingston Public Hospital, the NAJ, and the KPH Mental Health Committee. Mrs. Chambers Dyer is a transformational healthcare professional who has healed with hand and heart. She is a role model, an inspirational nurse, and a leader in her field. It is our pleasure to present the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award for Health in memory of Mrs. Syringa Marshall Burnett to Mrs. Winifred Chambers Dyer in recognition for her outstanding contribution to nursing and healthcare in Jamaica.
Thank you, Raquel. We now ask Mr. Warren McDonald, please, to come forward, sir, as you will present the award and citation. Mrs. Chambers Dyer, your reply, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our Master of Ceremonies with me today. Today is a very special day in my life. It is an honor for me to be receiving this award, the Syringa Marshall Burnett Award for service to Jamaica. Thanks to God for bringing me this far, and with his help, I will go a little further. First, let me say thanks to the panel of judges who thought that I should be the awardee for this award. To the person who almost hit me over my head to get me to apply for the award. She was the very first recipient of this award, and she's in the crowd with us today. She encouraged, she cajoled, she did everything, and when I said no, she said, no, you have to do it. Thanks again, Mrs. Hanson. To my family, who at times must have felt that I neglected them, but that was not so. I was just extending my arm a little bit further than my reach could have been. And I must say to them, thanks for putting up with me over these years. Thank you all for being here today, and God bless you.
Thank you and congratulations. Our next presentation will be made to Mrs. Beryl Chavans for her contribution to healthcare and family planning in Jamaica. Mrs. Chavans, please come to the stage and be seated while the citation is read. Please, while she makes her way to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for her. We again ask Ms. Raquel to read the citation.
Known for her stellar services in nursing, nursing education, reproductive health, and family planning, Mrs. Beryl Chavans has undoubtedly been an invaluable contributor to Jamaica's health sector. She qualified as a registered nurse in 1953 and received further training to become a certified midwife in 1958. She continued her studies over the years, gaining certificates in advanced nursing education, family life education, and management studies, later gaining a Bachelor of Science degree in public administration. All acquired at the University of the West Indies, these qualifications equipped Mrs. Chavans for the powerful impact she would make within the health sector, yielding groundbreaking processes and initiatives. Within the world of work, her roles and responsibilities were just as progressive as her educational pursuits. Launching out as a staff nurse in 1953, she worked briefly at the St. James Government Hospital before moving on to the University Hospital of the West Indies. There, she spent over 20 years, mainly nursing in obstetrics and gynecology, with promotions to ward sister and obstetric supervisor. From 1972 to 1976, she was the principal midwifery tutor at the University Hospital. Following this, Mrs. Chavans served as a consultant in midwifery training for the Ministry of Health World Bank project under the Jamaica Population Project 2 for 5 years. This position saw her setting up midwifery schools at the Spanish Town and Cornwall Regional Hospitals and the Developed Hospital, where she served as Assistant Director for Nursing Education and administered the midwifery program for graduate nurses. Mrs. Chavans returned to the Ministry of Health in 1983 and served for 7 years as Family Planning Coordinator. In this capacity, she coordinated and monitored family planning activities in 392 health centers and 17 hospitals across Jamaica. It was no surprise that she eventually served as Executive Director of the National Family Planning Board from 1992 to 1999. She was responsible for planning, directing, coordinating, and promoting family planning programs in Jamaica. She was also responsible for allocating funds secured from international funding agencies to other bodies or persons engaged in the field of family and population planning, and for assisting policymakers at the national level in the formulation of policies on population, family planning, and related areas. Mrs. Chavans ended her work experience as a consultant to Future Group International under the Focus Project of a national youth policy and the preparation of a national strategic plan for youth development. Now, despite her intense career journey, Mrs. Chavans found the time to serve as an examiner with the Nursing Council of Jamaica from 1969 to 2005, to serve for 10 years as relief midwifery tutor at the School of Nursing at the University Hospital, to serve for 14 years as a lecturer in the in-service education unit at the UHWI, to serve for 6 years as coordinator of the government midwifery program, to lecture for 2 years in the maternal and child health diploma course of the Department of Social, Preventative Medicine at the UWI, to lecture for 5 years at UIDITE and the Fertility Management Unit, and to serve for 5 years as external examiner for nursing and midwifery with the Nursing Council of Nassau, Bahamas. In addition, she represented her country with excellence as a delegate at numerous overseas conferences, workshops, and consultations. Mrs. Chavans received the National Honor of Order of Distinction for service in the field of family planning in 1998. The UNFPA, United Nations Population Fund, named her Goodwill Ambassador for Reproductive Health in 1999. Now, it gives us great pleasure to present the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Mrs. Beryl Chavans for her outstanding contribution to healthcare and family planning in Jamaica.
Thank you, Raquel. Now we'll have the presentation. Mr. Dennis Jones, will you come forward, please, to present the award and citation to Mrs. Chavans. Yeah, this way. Thank you.
Make sure we know who's getting it.
Okay.
And the diplomat.
Can you hold up for me?
Sure. Smile. Yes. Happy marriage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So take time. They want you alone.
Oh, I don't have to speak. Hold it, hold it. Hold it for her.
We're going to speak with us. We're going to take one picture with yourself in the back.
Okay.
Right, there you go. All right. Just do this. This one, right?
Thank you. Manager wanted us to hold it for you. Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All honors acknowledged. For friends, well-wishers, CCRP, and especially, I can't help but recommend the young people who made the citation and hope that one day they will be the face and future of the Caribbean community for retired persons as well. I'm truly honored to receive this recognition and really express my sincere appreciation to the board for its signal tribute as well as to my nominee. I'm also delighted to be included in the august company of other persons who have been selected today and who have all made sterling contributions to national development in Jamaica. I can't help thinking of the words of Longfellow, who said the heights of great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upwards in the night. I'm sure, like me, they spent many hours working, and I appreciate it today, so congratulations again. You have heard about my career at the University Hospital and also the training, and I'm very pleased to note that some of the things that I started, I can see today. Last week, I spoke to the midwife who went to enter the school in Spanish Town Hospital, which at the time was just a project, and now has been added to the University of Technology as a 2-year degree program. And it really is very rewarding. And not only that, but one of the midwives who trained under that 2-year program was, during my tenure, appointed midwife supervisor. And she is one of those participating in the midwifery training program at University of Technology, having graduated in 2005. She's now the vice president of the Midwives Association, and she now is a graduate student. These things are very rewarding. You can see them in our own lifetime. I couldn't help but thank all my colleagues whom I met with, and above all, my family, my children, my husband, Ralph, who is now deceased, who used to tell me, I'm proud of you, Beryl. And also, my children, 2 of whom are here today, Michelle and Camille. Apologies from Denise, who is at a health workshop in the country, and from Anik, who is a graduate medical student. I've been rewarded for all the years' work, and I appreciate today the gestures that you have made, and thank you all very much. Thank you. Wow. Congratulations, Mrs. Chavans. Congratulations, indeed. And moving right along, we will now have a presentation being made to Mr. Howard Lloyd Hamilton for his contribution to business and sports in Jamaica. Mr. Hamilton, would you please join us on stage? Be seated while Ms. Simpson reads the citation. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many Howard Hamiltons. There is only one Howard Lloyd Hamilton. Please put your hands together for him.
Mr. Howard Hamilton, has for many years been a significant figure in transforming or upgrading several key Jamaican industries, not least of which are energy, transportation, and sports, particularly horse racing. The recipient of a Shell Scholarship Award to the University of the West Indies Mona campus in 1957, Hamilton would later work as general manager of the Shell Petroleum Company West Indies, which he managed to transform into the #1 petroleum marketing company in Jamaica, the Caribbean, and Central America. He also benefited consumers generally by being instrumental in introducing unleaded gasoline to Jamaica in 1991. The adoption of unleaded fuel was an important first step in the ongoing quest to improve air quality by reducing the level of harmful pollutants from motor vehicles' exhaust. He also laid the groundwork for increased localization of the gasoline retail sector by encouraging service station owners to form their own marketing companies. As chairman of the then Metropolitan Management and Transportation Holdings, Mr. Hamilton oversaw the development of bus depots in Portmore and the corporate area, including the Metropolitan Transport Center in Halfway Tree. A member of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Board since 1990, he served as its president from 1997 to 1999 and as chairman of the Education Committee from 1991 to 1993 and as chairman of the Energy Committee from 2009 to 2015. He represented the chamber on the National Energy Council and also served on the Petroleum Trade Reform Committee to investigate the bad gas problems which surfaced in 2014. Mr. Hamilton is also well known for his long-standing involvement in the horse racing industry. In addition to being president of the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, a post he has held since 1997, Mr. Hamilton also served as chairman of the former Racing Promotions Limited from 1979 through 1983 and Cayman's Track Limited in 2003. In the latter post, he lobbied for an appropriate taxation package for the industry. He also took time to document the history of thoroughbred racing in Jamaica through his book, My Journey with Thoroughbreds. Beyond the sport of kings, this dynamic Jamaican also created the Sports Development Foundation in 1991, which has built sporting infrastructure around the island and also supported administrative capacity in several sports. This visionary initiative has empowered Jamaica to establish, maintain, and expand its international sporting prowess. We take great pleasure in presenting the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Howard Lloyd Hamilton in recognition of his visionary leadership in business and sports in Jamaica.
Very appropriate soundbite there, Sparrow. The sport of kings, indeed. Mr. Hamilton, please stand as Mrs. Patricia Reed will present the award and citation. I'll come with some more. Thank you very much. Your reply, Mr. Hamilton.
Oof, I've never had to walk so far in a long time. I've been told that I can only speak for 3 minutes, and I hope I'll be able to hold myself to that. When I heard that citation, I'll be frank with you, I didn't believe that I had done all those things, but I give God thanks for having those achievements. I want to thank the Caribbean community of retired persons for honoring me with this award. I'm glad in particular it was done while I'm still alive. I hear that they're posthumous awards. I don't know if you can hear those awards when they're made then. But it's good to hear the good things or the bad things that people have to say about you while you're alive. And I thank you very much, CCRP, for this award. I'm honored indeed. You know, as we bask in the glory of the achievement of our athletes, our sportsmen and sportswomen on the international stage as they build brand Jamaica, not very many of us recall and remember how that became possible and what was done. It was an initiation inspired by the Prime Minister then, Michael Manley. As chairman of the Sports Council, I was then chairman of the Finance Committee of that council. And he tasked me with the responsibility of getting a funding program in place for the development of youth. I told him I'd just been to Australia where I'd seen the scratch and win game, which had built a opera house in Sydney and was part of the development program for Sports Town. He said, "Cowboy, go ahead and do it." I said, "But PM, you just banned lotteries." He said, "Lotteries are not something that we want in Jamaica." He said, "I said the government couldn't do it. I didn't say the private sector can't do it." And that was the beginning. It was a journey of, shall I say, ups and downs and many sacrifices. As I explained to my next door neighbor at the table, my church expelled me for having got involved with a gambling effort on a national level. But, you know, those are the sacrifices I made through then. But we revel in the glory of those achievements now. And I give God thanks that I'm, in the winter of my life, leaving a legacy which I hope will continue to live on forever. And I want again thank the CCRP for this honor, and may God bless you in the many endeavors which you have in the future. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamilton, and congratulations to you, sir. We will now present the Michael Fraser Award for Philanthropy, named for the late board director of CCRP. This will be awarded to Mr. Gary Hendrickson, somebody very familiar with these functions here and who we love dearly. This is the first time that a father and son will be receiving Living Legacy Award. As you know, his father, Carl Hendrickson, had received it. Oh, sorry, he's not late at all. He was late in coming, but he's very much alive here. What can I say? Slippery, huh? That's what you call okay, slip and slide. Okay, his dad received it for the Jamaica 50, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Hendrickson. Ms. Raquel will read the citation. Thank you.
Entrepreneur extraordinaire, chairman, CEO, and philanthropist are just a few of the titles that can be assigned to this notable contributor and game changer, Mr. Gary Butch Hendrickson. He is the chairman and a chief executive officer of Continental Baking Company Limited, Coconut Bay Beach Resort and Spa and Serenity in St. Lucia. Mr. Hendrickson, a graduate of Jamaica College, Miami Military Academy, and Fordham University, has been a member of the American Society of Bakery Engineers for over 30 years. Through the operations of Continental Baking Company, known for popular brands such as National, HTB, and Homemade. Let me take that again. Mr. Hendrickson, a graduate of Jamaica College, Miami Military Academy, and Fordham University, has been a member of the American Society of Bakery Engineers for over 30 years. Through his unique talents and qualifications, he has spearheaded the operations of Continental Baking Company, known for popular brands as National, HTB, and Homemade, while positively impacting the lives of some 1,000 employees and their families. In addition, he also oversees and operates the multiple award-winning Coconut Bay Resort and Spa and Serenity in St. Lucia. Collectively, both properties boast an all-inclusive 290-room hotel employing over 300 persons. Mr. Hendrickson serves as the president of the Council of Voluntary Social Services, as a member of the Board of Directors of Bank of Jamaica and Rainforest, and as a sitting member of several entities within the business sector when he served as a sitting member of the King's House Foundation. Previous assignments saw him impacting several entities within the business sector when he served as board director of a number of companies, as chairman of Exim Bank, and as vice president of the private sector organization of Jamaica. Mr. Hendrickson's passion for education is highlighted by his active participation in programs that target early childhood and STEM education. He gave generously to the Union Gardens Foundation, led by fellow CCRP Living Legacy honoree Glenn Christen, to build the state-of-the-art Union Gardens Infant School in Kingston, which was opened in September 2015. This passionate and motivated leader donated millions to early childhood education projects as the major sponsor for Crayons Count and later the Little Leaders program, in which learning kits were distributed to over 2,500 early childhood institutions, and a well-equipped mobile classroom with a teacher trainer provided. His National Baking Company Foundation has supported close to 30 deserving organizations and has provided hundreds of millions of dollars worth of assistance in areas that include early childhood education, scholarship, youth empowerment, children's homes, food banks, small business development, and caring for the elderly. When Prime Minister Andrew Holness called for more science, technology, engineering, and mathematics centers to build the technical and creative capacity of the Jamaican workforce, Mr. Hendrickson responded. He and Glenn Christen led a fundraising campaign in 2019 in partnership with others to raise more than $1 million to establish the National STEM Center for Research and Innovations in Teaching and Learning at the Michael University College in St. Andrew. He also believes that a well-trained workforce will have long-term economic benefits and is happy to put his money behind his words. Butch Hendrickson makes it his duty to consistently support various charities, including Mustard Seed Communities, Laws Street Trade Training Center, Food for the Poor, and the St. Patrick's Foundation. From 2010 to 2018, Mr. Hendrickson invested more than $120 million to help small local manufacturers gain exposure through the Bold Ones of Manufacturing program, assisting business and contributing to economic growth and the creation of more than 500 additional jobs in their sectors. Two of them, AGM Packaging and Spiritory Spices, are now listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Mr. Hendrickson also created the trade show, A Jamaican-Made Christmas, to give an opportunity to small and medium-sized businesses to market their products. Butch Hendrickson is no stranger to awards, as his outstanding performance as a business leader and a philanthropist has not gone unnoticed. He was conferred with the National Honor of Order of Distinction Commander Class in 2014. Other recent awards that testify to his impressive catalogue of achievements include the Honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of the West Indies, the Humanitarian and Philanthropic Award from Mustard Seed Communities, the G. Raymond Award for Philanthropy, and the Jamaica Observer Business Leader Award. He was inducted into the PSOJ Hall of Fame in 2016. Generous, caring, resourceful, and determined, Mr. Hendrickson continues to impact the lives of thousands of persons across the educational and business sectors while mentoring and inspiring many to excellence. Now, without a doubt, this witty giver is a gift to our nation and our people. It gives us great pleasure to present the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award for Philanthropy in memory of Mr. Michael Fraser to Mr. Gary Butch Hendrickson in recognition of his outstanding contribution to education, poverty alleviation, and manufacturing.
Thank you very much, Raquel. Mrs. Bonnie Fraser will present the award, and Mrs. Jean Laura Chin will present the citation. Mr. Hendricks, your reply, please.
Joe and Mr. Hendrickson, combo, it's your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Master Ceremonies, fellow honorees, and our guests, CCRP Board Directors, team members, representatives of sponsors, BPM Financial, Gallagher Insurance Brokers, and Procom. Members of media, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, all other awardees, you don't have to do that. All protocols observed. Save yourself 30 seconds. First of all, I come up here and get these awards, and really you have a table down there with about just over 1% of the people who really make this possible. Come, put your hands up. Come on. Yeah, they kind of make this possible because I come up with these dummy ideas and they make it happen. And that's 1% in Jamaica of how we run the thing. At the end of all of this, you know, when we go, what did we leave? That's the important part. I just thought that I was so blessed growing up. And I want to, by the way, I have to straighten you guys out on something. I did not graduate from Jamaica College. They asked me to leave after fourth form. I did not graduate from Fordham University. I was registered at Fordham University, and I graduated from the Penny Whistle Pub across Webster Avenue in the Bronx, not in Manhattan. Right? As a matter of fact, I never graduated from anywhere. And so what happened is the universities here came along and said, boy, I really feel sorry for little youth. But we just give him something for holy, man. So I got a couple of honorary things. But no, I never graduated from anything. And then in life, I go through life and I run into people in the diplomatic service. I go to London and we have to go drinking. Not only does she take me drinking, she takes my children drinking. Ambassador alone. Love you to death. Right? And when she's done, she says, but darling, you know how this work, you know. Them don't pay us nothing, you know. Yes, alone. I didn't expect you to buy dinner. You know. But it's amazing. We had one night where, I don't even remember where it was. It was out by your house, I think, because you're still walking around like that. Only person I can see actually took a stroller to a bar and didn't need it on the way home. But you know, again, this is some great times. Folks, I have 3 minutes, so I'm not going to waste your time on it and tell you rubbish. No, it's actually the truth. No, some people could get in trouble on it, like Glenn Christian, most expensive person in my life. And I tell the story one more time. I swear it's the last time I'll tell this. Union Gardens, he invites me to lunch. He gives me a sandwich and a bottle of water, and he says to the Prime Minister, Prime Minister, Butch Hendrickson's giving you $21 million towards Union Garden School. Yay! It turned up, if it was 21, it wouldn't be bad. It earned about 54. Right? And then he talks about this school like, okay, Glenn, don't tell everybody, man, Lord. 21 million became 54. At least the sandwich was national bread. Of that, I'm sure. Right? 2010, I'm on the board of Exim Bank. And this is where I'm going to digress a bit. Sandra Glasgow says, would you mentor some people? I'd be happy to, Sandra, except I'm not too sure I'm in a position to tell you how to run your business, you how to run your business, you how to run your business. That's not a good idea. Who do you want to help? Small businesses, great. Well, came along and said, if I'm going to help small businesses, I'll help small businesses do what small businesses never can do. They can't afford marketing. They can't afford advertising. That I can do. Right? I call Gene in, and Gene comes up with this idea. The bold ones of manufacture, and that's how that was born. Very proud to tell you, yes, as it was said earlier, mentioned, Mohan at Spur Tree, AMG. And I have a whole list of them, and I had to put this down because there's so many of them. Home Choice, Pastry Passions, Barclays All In with The Next Step, Echo Farms, Ivy Rock. It goes on for 2 pages, folks. But they've all done fairly well for themselves. I think, yes, we did create a few hundred jobs, and of that I'm exceptionally proud because they're Jamaican jobs, and these companies are all owned by Jamaican people. No. Not only are they doing well, they're going international. I believe Raquel Brown, Raquel, yeah. Raquel don't even try for a Jamaican market. She just found it did so well overseas. She just went overseas. She was telling me where to go in Europe to find markets for all products. Because that's how after she got the go, she just went. And there are so many stories of this. So all I did, I just facilitated people. I couldn't dream for them, so I helped them dream for themselves. And they put it together, and Jean, you're all part of that creation. Where is Jean? Yeah, you're all a part of that creation. It was done, and I think the first launch was right up here, and we did the whole bold one things. And why bold one, Jean? Because Jean said, you have to be damn bold to go into manufacture. I said, you're right. You have to be. Especially if you're going from an agro base where you have no control of your supply sometimes. It's a stop and touch and go type of thing. And some of these folks have done exceptionally well for themselves. If you bought any shares in Spurtree's initial IPO, you will have done exceptionally well for yourself too, because they run a great operation and they continue to grow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to have been born in Jamaica. Good luck time, just at the right time. I don't know that my children's generation will be as lucky as I was. Because you can't be as dumb as I am and have done it this well without being lucky. What I do know is that the world is changing at the speed of light. Just when you think you have it made, you're wrong. Just when you think you have it figured out, you are so wrong, you have no idea how wrong you are. When I took over the plant from Dad in 94, hours mattered. Today, seconds matter. Why do seconds matter? Because as the bread comes out of the ovens at the speed they're coming at today, literally seconds matter. As a matter of fact, we're down to half second on the separation of a bread pan because it's changed direction. If you're not clear, the other one is going to collide right behind. Honorees, I think I will quote again. I think it was somebody in Hollywood said, when you made it to the top, when you've done well for yourself, remember, send the elevator back down. Send it back down, all right? And I will try to keep sending it down. And if they would just keep on making profit, I promise you I'll just keep on sending it down. Because I think we all have to grow this country together. It ain't going to happen with the use of no one person. I don't care how great he or she thinks they're not going to make this place work unless all of us get together. Thank you very much, Gene and company. Thank you.
Wow. The yeast in our bread for sure. Still he rises. Congratulations, Garrett Butch Hendrickson. For her contribution both locally and internationally for environmental protection and development, we will now present an award to Mrs. Eleanor Jones. Mrs. Jones, please come forward and be seated here. While the citation will be read by Ms. Zara Boxill. Please put your hands together for Eleanor Jones.
And climate resilience. Mrs. Jones began her career in education after graduating from New York's Hunter College and completing postgraduate studies at the University of Wisconsin. She lectured in geography at the latter institution before returning to Jamaica, where she again lectured in geography at the University of the West Indies. Having attended numerous conferences on environmental challenges, Mrs. Jones decided to address these challenges. In 1991, following a number of consulting and other professional assignments, she co-founded Environmental Solutions Limited, where she is chairman and the chief executive officer. The company started with the mission of applying disaster risk management and environmental conservation to the wider public sphere, encompassing government, private sector, and civil society. More than 30 years on, ESL has one of the largest environmental labs and consultancies in the Caribbean, certified to the ISO IEC standard, and is continuing to expand through volunteer and community activism. Mrs. Jones has also employed the The networking garnered through participation in international conferences and collaborations to help Jamaican businesses and institutions adopt a more sustainable outlook to their operations. The company's outreach has been particularly impactful in schools, including at the primary level, where Mrs. Jones and her team have enabled staff and students to improve air and water quality as well as waste management. ESL has also supported the National Tree Planting Initiative. Eleanor Jones has applied her expertise in every CARIFORUM country, the non-independent states of the Caribbean, in the Maldives in South Asia, Switzerland, Canada, the USA, and West Africa. She has provided consultancies to regional and international development agencies such as the IDB, the EU, World Bank, the UNDP, USAID, the JICA, the CIDA Global Affairs Canada, and the Caribbean Development Bank. Mrs. Jones has also answered the call to serve in diverse organizations, including the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, the American Chamber of Commerce of Jamaica, the National Wildlife Foundation, the Pan American Development Foundation, the Jamaica Association for Children with Learning Disabilities, and the Council of Voluntary Social Services. She is a council member of the University of Technology, chair of the Energy, Environment, and Climate Change Committee of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, deputy chairman of the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica, and director of the Jamaica Protected Areas Trust. She also serves on the advisory committee of the Pan American Development Foundation in the USA. A 2017 Bronze Musgrave Medal awardee for excellent contribution to science, she also holds the National Honor of the Order of Distinction, awarded in 2018 for outstanding service in environmental management and civic contribution. The UWI Department of Geography, on the occasion of its 50th anniversary in 2017, presented her with its Trailblazing Award. She received the International Women's Day 2015 Award, Paying It Forward, Outstanding Leadership from the Women's Leadership Initiative, Jamaica. We take great pleasure in presenting the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Mrs. Eleanor Jones in recognition of her outstanding contribution to environmental protection and development in Jamaica and internationally.
Thank you very much, Zara. Ms. Jones, you're standing. Ms. Grace McLean of BPM Financial will make the presentation and the award, and Mr. Kumaraswamy, where is he? I haven't seen him. Oh, there you are, so how are you? Will present the citation, please. Yes? Now we'll have Mrs. Jones reply. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for that beautiful citation, so wonderfully read by Ms. Boxell. Thank you very much. Thanks to those who put together the citation. Coming after Butch, we have shared many, many happy times, jokes, and your sense of humor just never falters. Thank you so much, Bush, for preceding me, if you will, because it reminds us, really, your presentation reminds us that the outcomes often depend on our attitude and perception. And just to say that two men look out of the same bars, one sees the mud and one sees the stars. And for it is an honor to really be a part of this space, this wonderful space with so many distinguished honorees who have reached for the stars. And we also want to think of those who reach for hope in times of desperation, despite difficulties. Those of us who had the privilege of learning some Latin in school, ad aspera per ardua. Who did Latin? And so really today is a special honor. I want to thank the CCRP for giving hope to senior citizens. Thank Jean Laurichin for the tremendous vision. And when we think of where CCRP started, where they are today, it is really wonderful. And for us to be honored, we thank you for remembering those of us who have been working in the trenches, some of us attempting to leave a legacy, sometimes without even thinking about it. Thank you very much. And I'd like to, as we have recognized environmental solutions, I have some of my managers here, and I would like them to stand. Our environmental health and analytical services, environmental management services, and our financial manager. They have walked the walk and continue to walk the walk as we go forward. So thank you all very much for coming to share with us this momentous occasion, and I look forward to sharing with the honorees who are me. Thank you all very much.
Very much, Mrs. Jones. We salute you as we salute all our 2022 Living Legacy awardees, which makes it round about time for a little bit more music by Spire Martin and the group as we get ready to honor several more awardees. Yes. Yes, sir? Mm-hmm. I hear you coming from my mic. Take it.
Could you stop it and start the track again for me, please? Han, just hold on a minute. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are having a great afternoon. I just want to say this song that I wrote. I wrote this song almost 20 years ago. It speaks to, someone who goes through life struggle and someone who triumphs even at the end. And I just want to say, as you receive your award today, just be mindful that this is your moment to soar. This song is dedicated to all those people out there. To all those who think that there's no hope. Just want to tell you that at the end of every tunnel, there's a light. In your darkest hour, there's always the break of day. So believe in you, and believe that you will, and you will soar. The one reigning on the inside, I know my day will come to see the sun. Though so many days I feel so cast down, I know my day will come to rise again. I will soar like an eagle. I'll run to the ends of the earth and touch the sky. I will fly like an eagle. I'll be free to roam the earth one day and touch the sky. Though I'm bleeding on the inside, and my life has been an uphill climb. Though so many days I feel so cast down, I know my day will come to shine again. I will soar like an eagle. I'll run to the ends of the earth and touch the sky. I will fly like an eagle. I'll be free to roam the earth one day and touch the sky. Oh, the pressures of this life is weighing down on me. From the shackles of this strife, I know I will remain free. What will tomorrow bring? I have to wait and see, 'cause I'm sure I will soar like an eagle. I'll run to the ends of the earth and touch the sky. I will fly like an eagle. I'll be free to roam the earth one day and touch the sky. I will soar like an eagle. I'll run to the ends of the earth and touch the sky. I will, your time, like an eagle, like an eagle. I'll be free to roam the earth one day. I'll be free to roam the earth and touch the sky. And you know, and so from the lips of our soul, we cry to thee in our wilderness experience. Thank you. Have a blessed evening.
We say you cause your children to soar. Give us peace in the stillness of the night.
Understand that there's an addendum to the speech by Mrs. Eleanor Jones. Will you allow us, please? Eleanor.
Thank you very much, Joan. I just wanted to say I neglected to mention something that's very, very important to me and very important to my company. And it is the fact that my son, Stephen, has joined me and is with an effort to continue the legacy. So I just wanted to make that, and I neglected to say it, and I want to just recognize Stephen. He's working virtually, but virtually and in Jamaica. So welcome, Stephen, and thank you.
Very important that we pass on the baton, the legacy, and the succession planning. Thank you very much, Eleanor. We will now be making a presentation to Mr. Peter Mays for his contribution to legal excellence, community development, and volunteerism. Mr. Mays, could you assist Mr. Mays in getting here on stage? His citation will be read by Ms. Boxill. Zara?
Mr. Peter George Mays, a Kingstonian by birth, epitomizes the true meaning of service with distinction. An attorney at law for over 60 years, he has shown creativity and commitment in providing for the needs of others through his deep dedication to his community. Born to a mother who was raised by Catholic nuns, the Sisters of Mercy, and whose father, a civil servant who rose to the position of permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mr. Mays was well poised for acts of service. He qualified as a solicitor in 1963 and joined the law firm of Livingston, Alexander and Levy, becoming a senior partner in 1972 and eventually retiring in 2007. His areas of special focus as a lawyer were trademarks, estate law, real estate, corporate law, industrial negotiations and relations, and arbitration. He successfully formed and/or represented many leading companies and organizations from the 1960s to the 1980s. These include, but are not limited to, United Fruit Company, Alcon, Avis Car Rentals, Hilo, Kisco, Reynolds Metal Company, and Van Leer Jamaica Limited. Mr. Mays is a keen supporter and/or legal representative of many Catholic organizations and religious orders, including the St. Vincent de Paul Society and Missionaries of the Poor. He collaborated with his father, a long-standing member and president of the St. Vincent de Paul Society, to execute fundraising events, and over the years, faithfully supported numerous impoverished families in the Harborview, Seaview Gardens, Hannahtown, and Barbican areas. For Missionaries of the Poor, he participated in its legal incorporation and everyday events, serving the poorest of the poor, including volunteering at annual stage productions of Father Holag and Friends, locally and sometimes internationally. In 1997, Peter Mays and Monsignor Richard Albert co-founded the Stella Maris Foundation, which serves the residents of Grants Pen and the surrounding areas in St. Andrew, providing skills training and other services. As chairman of the foundation, he was involved in numerous events from policy formation, programming, fundraising, praise and worship, community relations, and many other aspects of building and running the foundation. Mr. Mays also participated in the restoration of the Holy Trinity Cathedral on North Street and spearheaded the establishment of the Queen of Peace Park in Hannahtown, dedicated to Vilma Mays. He is currently a member of the St. George's Roman Catholic Church in Balcarres, Portland, serving in the Visitation Ministry and the Church Building Project. This dedicated servant of his community has also served as a board member of Campion College and Marymount High School, and as chairman of Immaculate Conception and St. Annie's High Schools. Mr. Mays is a founding member of the board of directors of CCRP and has contributed significantly to the growth, governance, and advocacy activities of the organization. Peter Mays is an avid player of bridge and has represented Jamaica in Central American and Caribbean bridge championships and won numerous awards and trophies for the game over the past 5 decades. He is a sports fan with a special love for cricket, tennis, and football, all of which he played as a schoolboy. Over the years, Mr. Mays has been deliberate in his efforts to serve his community and the disadvantaged. He has successfully led or participated in initiatives that uplift and change the lives of many, and he continues to go the extra mile. It is with great pleasure and appreciation the award in recognition of his outstanding contribution to legal excellence, community development, and advocacy in Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Zara. Mrs. Vilma McDonald will make the presentation of the award and citation. Mr. Mace. Please reply.
When I was put into the chair a while ago, I thought I was back at school being lectured for doing something that was not welcome to the master of school. And sometimes, having heard all of those wonderful things, I'm wondering whether it's a case of mistaken identity. But here I am, and I'm most grateful. I'm most grateful and honored to be of service to many situations in Jamaica, and also lately to the Caribbean community of retired persons. I'm going to engage my Queen's Counsel to speak on my behalf. Her name is Shirley, and she's my beloved wife. But before I do so, I want to recognize and acknowledge members of my family here and overseas who are going to be viewing this program and this presentation. Those of them who are up here, my daughter Julie, her husband Walter. I have my daughter Camille, my son Simon is traveling overseas, or he would be here, sends his apologies. I have my grandson Adam here also, and my granddaughter, one of them, Madison. I have my sister-in-law, Sonia, otherwise called Sonny, and her good friend and our family friend, Gloria, with us here. I also have my cousin, Dr. Christopher Mays, Chris, over there also. And I'm going to turn all events now over to my Queen's Counsel.
Good afternoon. It's not King's Council. No. So on behalf of Peter, he prepared this little thank you. Recently, one of our CCRP directors made this comment. From the day we are born, we are retiring. No doubt, the fruit of some philosophical thinking on his part, but it is also a reflection on the reality that God created each one of us, not only for a purpose, but also for a time. And during that time, we age. And as we age, our mental and physical powers diminish, sometimes little by little, and at other times by leaps and bounds. Perhaps the Caribbean community of retired persons should be renamed Caribbean Community of Retiring Persons. CCRP exists because our founding chairperson, Jean, who never seems to age, was moved by the plight and condition of persons who, shall I say, of advanced age and who, rich or poor alike, face social, legal, physical, and financial challenges in one form or another. I am privileged and grateful to be accorded the honor of being one of the early directors of CCRP, and I have been enriched by the wisdom and goodwill which guides and controls the meetings of our board. I confess to no small misgivings over being selected for a Living Legacy Award. The object of the Caribbean Community of Retiring Persons is to serve. The subject is the well-being and happiness of our elderly. By this means, we at CCRP are simply giving life to the supreme good of our Christian mandate to love our neighbors as ourselves, and as Christ taught us. When we do so, our reward on earth is the accolade of being called unprofitable servants. Nevertheless, thank you, Jean, our board, and all of you goodly people who are attending this wonderful function. I acknowledge that I am still alive, and living is a condition for this award. But the legacy I share with the chair, board, administrative staff, past and present, volunteers, health providers and brokers, discount partners, our generous sponsors, and all of you who, in one way or another, have contributed to the development, progress, and success of CCRP. So, this unprofitable servant has enjoyed the repast and is looking forward to a glass of wine.
Well, then, cheers are in order. Please clap Mr. Mays and that. Wow. And his Queen's Council. Yeah. Wow. Fabulous. For her contribution as pro bono legal counsel to CCRP and for nation building, we will now be awarding Ambassador Lunandumbe Samba. Ambassador Samba, please. Citation will be read by Zara Boxill.
Her listed titles of attorney at law, mediator, and a consultant hardly do justice to the work and accomplishments of Ambassador Alun Dombe Asamba. After gaining her law degree and being called to the bar in 1981, Ambassador Asamba served as an associate attorney at a law firm. She later joined the Jamaica Industrial Development Corporation as corporate secretary and legal advisor. In 1988, she gained a diploma in human resource development from the Institute of Management and Production. She joined the COK Cooperative Credit Union as personnel manager and legal advisor and was promoted to deputy general manager in 1989. Ambassador Asamba journeyed to the United States in 1991 to take up the Heinz Fellowship in Strategic Management at the University of Pittsburgh. From 1994 to 2002, she served as General Manager of COK Credit Union. Her service in government began in 1998 as a senator and then in 2002 as a Member of Parliament for St. Anne Southeastern until 2007. Ambassador Asamba also served as State Minister in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Technology and as Minister of Tourism, Entertainment and Culture from 2002 to 2007. She then joined Paymaster Jamaica as General Counsel and Chief Corporate Officer. From 2009 to 2012, Ambassador Asamba established a private law practice. She was the principal of Quest Consults, a consulting firm offering mediation services and training in human resource and hospitality. She was a mediator and trainer in mediation with the Disputes Resolute Foundation and tutored in mediation and dispute resolution at the Norman Manley Law School. She also served as a part-time lecturer in legal and regulatory framework for business at the Mona School of Business. Ambassador Asamba was appointed Jamaica's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and Cyprus in 2012. She also served as ambassador to Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Ireland. After returning to Jamaica in 2016, she again joined COK Credit Union as its Chief Executive Officer, retiring in 2020 and now serving as a consultant. Ambassador Asamba has served on the boards of the Commonwealth Secretariat and the Caribbean Tourism Organization. She has served as Vice Chairman of the Caribbean Tourism Organization and the World Tourism Organization Conference in Senegal in 2004. She represented the Caribbean on the board of CUSO, a Canadian development and volunteer sending agency, and served as its treasurer. Ambassador Asamba has given of her time and talent to the United Way of Jamaica, the Lions Club of New Kingston, and the Monique College, among others. She is a founding member and a pro bono legal consultant to CCRP, and as Director Emeritus, continues to make her invaluable contribution to the organ. We are delighted to present the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Ambassador Alun Dombe Asamba in recognition of her outstanding contribution as pro bono legal counsel to CCRP and for her significant role in nation building.
Thank you, Zara. Ambassador, you are upstanding so very quickly. Very good. Mrs. Vilma McDonald will present the award, and Mrs. Karen Gauntlet will present the citation. Yes. You see the pose? Does she really need that stick there? She's just modeling it with a stick, you know that. Your reply, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. You see this stick? Thanks to COVID-19. It has left me with problems in my right leg, my nerves in my right leg. The purpose of the stick is to let me know that my right foot has touched the ground. And the doctor said, if I go and wear a stick, I might as well have a bling stick. So here it is. I like the fact that I have come so late down in the program, because all those wonderful persons have spoken before me. Do not believe a thing that Butch Hendrickson tell you about the drinking. Yes, it's true, I carried them out. I was drinking water. And they were drinking other things. And I see that Howard Hamilton has left, so I don't have to tell you about him and all those places that we went to when I was in England. And speaking about when I was in England, I would like to just recognize two friends of mine from Bristol, Primrose Granville and Henroy. Henroy is, we have a joke in the UK about hot white rice. You know, I used to say when I was there that when you see food, you eat. When you find a bed, you sleep, because you don't know when it's coming again. I went to Bristol, and they had me up and down, and then give me dry food. And before I go home, I said to Primrose, who was driving us around, I need to eat something. I want a little hot rice. And she said, I know the place for you. And she took us to Henroy's place. He had washed down his counters. He had done everything. And he hauled out some rice. And gravy. I don't even know what I eat it with, you know. And I really want to thank them for coming here today. I mean, I have so many people to thank. I have to thank CCRP for remembering and recognizing me. You know, this is the only national honors I've ever had. And I'm very honored and pleased that I have been recognized. Yes, it's true. Sometimes when I'm going to speak to people, they ask me what letters I'm to put behind. They're to put behind my name, and I tell them letters like what? We need to call ourselves LL now. Living Legacy. Well, there you go. I feel that I know and I have a relationship with everybody in this room. I can tell you a story about every table. And Donna is there telling me not to tell them. But I have to recognize Donna Parchment and Pauline Finley. We are known as the Three Musketeers, and usually when they say one, they ask where the others. They're in the days when we could have traveled. You all remember the time when Air Jamaica had a 3-for-1 special? We that, you know. There's a frozen yogurt place in Miami that if I ever went there by myself, they asked me where my two friends there. So I have to recognize them. I want to recognize my Lion sisters. I can't call everybody's name. Lion Vilma, Lion Joy, Lion Hyacinth from my Lions Club of New Kingston. I'm so glad that they are here. But before I go any further, I have to recognize my son. See him over there? Dominic. And my sister, Eleanor Williams. We live in Moneague. And sometimes people don't know whether it's she or it's me. And they call her Mr. Samba. I really am very pleased, and I thank you for this honor that CCRP has bestowed upon me. And I'm not going to give you any big philosophical speech. You know, all of us who have been honored here today, I don't think that we set out to try and become an honoree of anybody. I think what we do is we get up every day. We recognize that we have been given some gifts that we were born in the right place at the right time. And you just get up and put one foot before the other and hope that your shoes don't dry rot and fall off. I'm going to tell you this. You see these last couple of years that we're not dressing up and going out. Don't you feel good to dress up and come out here today? My Lord. You see this frock? It's the first time I'm wearing the dress since I wore it when I presented my credentials in Cyprus. And that lovely long lady didn't say Cyprus, but I'm going to tell you, I have to say Cyprus. She did, she said Cyprus. Okay. When I went to present my credentials to Cyprus, you know, Cyprus have two sides, the Greek side and the Turkish side. There's a big argument over who I was to present to. And they actually wrote a letter of protest to the government of Jamaica that I had gone to present to one side and not the other side. Thank God we don't live in those places where when you drive, you can't go beyond a certain point. I know, ensuring that seniors are recognized for the role that they have played in the development of this country. And right now, I hear seniors calling out. Their NIS payments have not been increased for a while. And it seems, and I hear this, I get this because I live in rural Jamaica, we are making it more difficult for them to get the little 2 weeks pay that they get. First time they could go to the post office and get it. That don't exist no more. You know, that little outing to the post office is probably the only time that many of those seniors get a chance to go out and interact with anybody. Our post offices, especially in rural Jamaica, is a place where people socialize, where they meet their friends, and especially now how things hard. When the little money got to the bank takes some of it, you know. I have seen enough persons complaining, Lord, I could stand up here and talk whole day about plenty of things, but I really am here. And if anybody is listening, do help our NIS pensioners increase. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Samba, and congratulations. You hear the advocacy part of what CCRP does. That's what it is. That's the basis of that. We have so much to look forward to in protection of our senior citizens. We will now present the J. Lester Spaulding Award for Business, named after our late CCRP Board Director, to Dr. Blossom Amelie Nelson. For her contribution to business and education in Jamaica, and so much more. We talk about microfinancing. This lady is a what you call it, a very, very broad spectrum. Yeah, very broad. And very funny too, as you will hear shortly. Sarah?
Dr. Blossom Amelie Nelson has had a distinguished and multifaceted career in the public and the private sectors, making significant contributions to several spheres of education and development. A graduate of the University of the West Indies with a doctorate in social and general psychology Dr. O'Mealy Nelson spent 16 years as an educator at the secondary and tertiary levels, a tenure which she would later as Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council for the University of Technology. She was, in fact, integrally involved in the process of transition of the former CAS to UTEC in 1995. Dr. O'Mealy Nelson's involvement in the business world includes her 7 years as Executive Director of the National Development Foundation of Jamaica, an agency established to provide both financial and technical support to small and micro enterprises. Dr. Nelson has also managed the Workforce Development Consortium, which serves the labor market through training and consultancy. She would create history in 2000 as Jamaica's first female Postmaster General, having been appointed to head the Postal Corporation of Jamaica. In that position, she oversaw the transformation of the Postal Service into a commercially viable service entity and a force in the then burgeoning commercial package delivery business. In 2009, she was appointed Chief Operating Officer of Aeromar Group, a shipping and logistics company. The following year, she established the Caribbean Institute of Logistics and Transport. In June 2021, she was appointed founding chairman of the Caribbean chapter of Women in Logistics and Transport International, a forum of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. Dr. O'Mealy Nelson is currently a management consultant specializing in institutional strengthening and business process re-engineering. Numerous companies, organizations, and institutions have benefited from her expertise in the areas of organizational development, education and training, project evaluation and development, and corporate restructuring and planning. She has her own line of psychometric tests for use in recruitment and personal development. She is a partner in Thunder Impact Limited, a technology solutions company providing group insurance to MSMEs as well as prepaid credit cards and business development services. Dr. O'Mealy Nelson has been a visionary chairman of the Jamaica Association for Microfinance, working on the new Microcredit Act and preparing microfinance companies to register, organizing for them to be able to outsource their compliance, and developing alliances for their business development, policies, and procedures. A well-known public speaker and communicator, Dr. O'Mealy Nelson authored the book, Hazards of Entrepreneurship, A Guide to Business Success, as well as a weekly column in the Gleaner, and formerly hosted the business television magazine program, Business Line. She has also published a collection of poems. Her dynamism has also been felt in the environmental sphere, where Dr. O'Mealy Nelson is a founding member of the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica and chair of the Jamaica Conservation and Development Trust. She assisted in the establishment of the Blue and Jonquil Mountains National Park. She is the recipient of the National Honor of Order of Distinction, Commander Class for Outstanding Public Service. Among her other numerous awards are the Jamaica Civil Service Association Distinguished Service Award and the Woman of Excellence Award from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston. We take great pleasure in presenting the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award for Business in memory of Mr. J.A. Lester Spalding to Dr. Blossom O'Mealy Nelson in recognition of her outstanding contribution to business and education in Jamaica.
Thank you, Zaura. Mrs. Maureen Thomas of Gallagher Insurance Brokers Limited will make the presentation of the award, while Mrs. Vilma McDonald will present the citation. Can I? Yes, hold on for a minute.
Well, if you leave me and I'm still standing, that's fantastic. Okay.
We'll hold this for you as you give your reply.
Thank you, Joan, for reminding me of what I'm supposed to do. That was quite subtle, you know. I don't usually sit in those chairs because my son tells me that my 103-year-old uncle could get out of his chair easier than I can. So my daughter taught me sumo squats, which you have to squat with your legs at a very wide angle, and which is not a very modest way of getting up out of a chair, but you saw me setting up with my sumo squats to get out of the chair, and then I was rescued. But my philosophy is that I only have a certain number of sit down and get up left in me. So I don't waste them. So if I don't have to sit down and get up, I don't sit down and get up because I have to save it up to make it go the distance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time I've been on a platform with the honorable, non-recognized with anything credential, Alun Asambo. And one of the funniest events was when Alun did Swan Lake with Maxine Henry Wilson, remember? In her little pink tutu. Yes. So Alun, good to be here with you. So you're leaving in the middle of when I'm talking? Oh, okay, good. Because you held us up here quite a bit, you know, so you have to listen to me. Okay, so Master of Ceremonies, beloved Joan, woman of elegance and with her back always straight. CCRP officers, distinguished persons here present, fellow awardees, and it is such a privilege to be with this great cadre of persons who have got this award today. So I recognize, ladies and gentlemen, my son, one of my sons, and my daughter at the back of the room riding shotgun over me to keep me in line. Yeah. Welcome. I'm glad I made it here. You know, for some reason, my friends and family like to give me plaques. And I noticed that you spelled plaque right, because when I was at the post office, I got a plaque from what I thought was a plaque from the Burial Scheme Association, and it read, "We are pleased to present you with this plaque from the Burial Scheme Association." Yeah, I suppose the plague was going to put me over the edge, so that whatever. But you did spell it right. So my friends like to give me plaques, and the other day I got one that said, "Behind every successful woman is herself." And I hung it on the powder room door downstairs. I'm very pleased with it. It's a nice metallic plaque, right? And then some years ago, my cousin, now deceased, she's a very conservative, ladylike cousin that always wore her stockings to church. And she gave me a plaque that said, "Well-behaved women never make history." You know that one? I didn't know if she was sort of said it with a bit of envy. But I also love that plaque as well. Now I take these plaques very seriously, as there's some truth in both of them, as you will know. There is, however, no doubt that I would not be standing here today if it were not for the many persons who have come in and out of my life for a season. And I saw so many of you today who have been out for a season. You need to come back in. When I look at Eileen Walton, I have no problem walking and chipping around the place. That's wonderful. You know, God is not fair.
He gave some people a straight back and he gave some people scoliosis like me. But anyway, I think maybe he compensated for it in some other way. But each person has played a God-given role in my life of either opening a door and lifting me up from my many falls, because I've been fired from more things than any of you could even dream of. Right? Yeah. Seriously fired. Fired and let go. But when I fall, there are others who lift me up and present new opportunities to me. And there are those who stand on the sidelines and cheer, and there are some who pray for me. So my life has been rich with a diverse canvas of friends, acquaintances, colleagues, employees, bosses, mentors, facilitators, all of whom have added beautiful stitches to the tapestry of my life. And it has been an adventure, I tell you. I started out as a missionary, then I became a teacher, then the next thing you know, I was heading a bank, and then I was heading a post office, and then, I mean, it is just incredible, you know? So I've never stuck to one thing, or one husband, or anything like that. So, in all of this, and as I look out here, there are so many people who have touched my life, and I love you all. I'm still waiting for the other husband, but it's not working out yet. But my family remains the center of my life, and it is such a joy to take this journey with them. It is impossible to thank everybody individually. I can't start naming people because that is a potion for disaster. All those who have brought me to this place. But be assured that my heart is forever grateful. CCRP. I remember when you started CCRP, Jean and I was going to do a skit on it. And everybody said, you can't do that. And I had to drop it, you know. And I'm glad I dropped it because it became a Caribbean-wide organization. It's phenomenal, the growth of this organization and the things you think of to bring benefits to our seniors. So, yeah, please. Jean is a one-of-a-kind, charming, gracious, committed. She's a national treasure. Give her a big hand, please. And of course, she's a fellow poet. I'm grateful to the ones who nominated me. I gathered something was going on behind my back because I heard people scurrying around trying to find out this. And I didn't know why they were all trying to find out this and calling people to find. I thought everybody knew everything about me, but anyway. So I'm grateful to those who nominated me and to the ones who chose to honor me in this way. I know you found difficulty in defining what category I would fit in, but, you know, you finally found one, and we're thankful for that. So I accept this award knowing that I'm not done yet. Please be advised. And your recognition encourages me to continue to give my time, intellect, my heart to this nation, to make this nation better so our next generations can thrive and navigate this very perplexing world. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amelia Nelson, and congratulations. For her love of children and contribution to community development, we will now be awarding Mrs. Claudette Richardson Pius. Claudette is a lady I know from the 70s in drama school. When she comes, it's thunder, it's drama, it's creativity. Please make your way upstage. You brought your own chair, which you prefer to sit in. I don't blame you. And the citation will be read by Mr. Brandon Howlett.
Children's First founder, Mrs. Claudette Richardson Pius, combines caring and compassion with resourcefulness, creativity, and determination, qualities that have propelled her agency through 25 years of outstanding service to the children and youth of Jamaica. Whilst a teacher at Kingston College, Mrs. Richardson Pius became deeply concerned with the issues driving high rates of delinquency among her students. Realizing that her true calling was social work, she shifted her focus accordingly and gained a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of the West Indies, and then shortly after, a master's degree in social work from the University of Cambridge. Mrs. Richardson Pius served as Senior Project Development Officer with a remedial education and family welfare program run by the UK's Save the Children in Spanish Town. Upon the closure of that project in 1997, she made a determination that the work simply had to continue, shifting the focus from strictly welfare to more development. Mrs. Richardson Pius, together with the children and their families, got together and initiated the multifaceted community building model that today bears the name Children's First, with the children choosing the name of the agency. Through myriad early challenges, the model has grown to encompass many other communities and vocational activities. Children First provides a range of services to children, youth, and their parents. Children and youth are able to return to the regular school system after benefiting from remedial education and vocational skills training. Some enroll in institutions of higher learning, others establish their own small business ventures. The youngsters also receive counseling, career guidance, psychosocial support, and a wide range of support services and skills training such as barbering, photography, videography, and cosmetology. There are parenting classes, and parents have been encouraged and empowered in setting up income-earning projects. The majority of these have grown into successful small businesses. The organization's Bashi Bus has become a familiar and welcome sight across the island, providing information on reproductive health and related support services to adolescents in a youth-friendly space. The Bashi Bus Cruise Holistic Service offering has increased to include the prevention of gender-biased violence and intimate partner violence. Mrs. Richardson Pius has served on the boards of the Early Childhood Commission, the National Initiative for Street Children, and the Institute of Jamaica, among others, and has represented Jamaica at numerous regional and international conferences focusing on child rights and HIV/AIDS. Mrs. Richardson Pius and Children First have gained numerous accolades, including the Michael Manley Award for Community Resilience, nomination in 2009 as the Best Practice Agency to represent Jamaica at the 2009 Annual Ministerial Review Meeting in Geneva, Switzerland, showcasing of the Bashi Bus as a model for youth reproductive health education during a poster exhibition at the 2010 International AIDS Conference in Vienna, Austria. In 2008, her work was recognized regionally when she received the Anthony Sagba Caribbean Award for Civic and Public Contribution, as well as the first Global Bank Vision Award. In spite of all these accolades, she remains the same warm-hearted, generous, humorous, unassuming, and committed Jamaican. We take great pleasure in presenting the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Claudette Richardson Pius in recognition of her outstanding contribution to community development in Jamaica.
Thank you, Brandon. Mrs. Jean Laurie Chin will present the award and citation. reply.
Greetings and salutation. Look here now, I think I can say ditto ditto. Because everybody say everything, but I really want to say how honored I am to be inducted in this special Living Legacy family. I would also like to give thanks to the CCRP family because it has a family feeling. Boy, today nice talk shoot. Oh my, what a little go out and a little proper. Congratulations to the team. This is really something to talk about. I don't want to stand between you and the traffic. So I really want to say thanks for all those who have been supporting my mission and my vision. I never think that my dream is a nightmare. And I really want to thank you all for assisting me in impacting the lives of so many children and their families. I also want to say, look here, I'm in good company. So when I come knock at your door, you know me. So I will have more opportunities for the children. I'm glad that this is happening when I'm living. And I'm not here, and I'm not in my grave hearing, and she was. So I'm really happy that I'm here to celebrate, and I'm making every effort to ensure that my legacy is left in good hands. And I have 3 members of the Children First family here with me, and I'm into succession management because you notice I couldn't sit in that chair. I had to sit in a special chair. So as you get to this retirement stage, some parts say you retire. So accordingly, I am arranging the legacy, and I would like to acknowledge my best friend, Helen Robertson, and the members of the Children First family who are sharing with me. Thank you all so much. This is a momentous occasion. Blessings all. Be safe.
Thank you very much, Claudette, and congratulations. Next, we will be awarding Professor the Honorable Maureen Samsvaughan for her contribution to early childhood health and development. Please put your hands together for her. Take your seats in the chair. Mr. Brandon Howlett, who we understand has been a mentee of yours at St. Matthew's Anglican Church, he is going to be reading the citation. Brandon?
Professor of Child Health, Development and Behavior at the University of the West Indies, Consultant Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrician, and Director of the Child and Family Clinic at the University Hospital of the West Indies since 1993. Professor the Honorable Maureen Samsvaughan is known in Jamaica, the Caribbean, and internationally for her seminal research, clinical work, and policy development in the field of child health, child development, and behavior. She became the first chairman of the Early Childhood Commission in 2003 and served in that capacity for 13 years. Under her leadership, the Commission developed and implemented Jamaica's first cross-sectoral national strategic plan for early childhood development. Professor Samsvaughan's tenure saw the development of the standards and regulatory system for early childhood centers and the development of Jamaica's child health and developmental passport. Her most recent research, the JA Kids Study, a national birth cohort of 9,700 Jamaican children and families, which commenced in 2011, has identified factors that promote and prevent optimum development for Jamaica's young children. Professor Samsvaughan operates a child and adolescent development center called One of a Kind Kids Jamaica, which helps the youngsters achieve personal growth, independence, and self-confidence. A prolific writer, she has over 100 publications, including 3 books, book chapters, and peer-reviewed papers on the gamut of child development and behavior-related topics. Professor Samsvan has taught at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels and has supervised doctoral students at UWI and in several universities in the United States in child development research. She has fulfilled numerous consultancies in the field of child development and behavior for the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, the World Bank, UNICEF, and PAHO, and is a member of the IDB's Advisory Group on Early Childhood Development. Professor Samsvan currently serves as Director of Family Life Ministries, the Usain Bolt Foundation, and a number of school boards, and is the patron of the Jamaica Autism Support Association. She chairs the National Commission on Violence Prevention, established by the Prime Minister in 2019. Among her awards are the National Honors of Order of Jamaica and Commander of the Order of Distinction. We are delighted to present the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Professor the Honorable Maureen Samsvan for her outstanding contribution to early childhood health and development.
Thank you, Brandon. Dr. Owen James will make the presentation and of the award and citation. Thank you. You're here. Wonderful. Your reply, please, Professor.
You know, after having so many ladies who were comedians up here, I'm sorry I'm not a comedian, so I'm going to give you just a steady kind of response. First, I wish to thank the CCRP for considering me one of the recipients of the 2022 Living Legacy Awards. It's an honor and a privilege to be so nominated, and so nominated among so many others who have contributed to Jamaica in very many spheres of life. I also wish to thank Jean specially because it is her vision why we are all here today. I also wish to thank Brandon for reading the citation. What he didn't tell you is how many times I've had to say to him, Brandon, stop talking in church. Brandon, stop running around in church. And how many times I've put him to sit beside me. Those are the things he didn't tell you in the citation. But look at him today. He is a mature UWI student, and I'm expecting him to do great things. So I typically spend most of my time with those at the other end of the spectrum that CCRP advocates for. But you know, when I looked at the principles that the CCRP wants for the retiring persons, I see respect, I see quality of life, and I see empowerment so that they can contribute to the development of the country. And you know, those are exactly what children want, the same things. And you know, I can't be up here without mentioning the early childhood sector, of course. The early childhood sector is the building block of every society. Those of us who are being awarded today, and indeed all of us who sit here, are here because we had a nurturing early childhood period. I'm going to digress a little bit and tell you about my nurturing early childhood period. I lived in a family with married parents, and I was nurtured by them. But I also want to tell you about the nurturing by my grandmother. My grandmother was a sugarcane worker. And when my brother, who is 3 years older than I am, went to school, I was very upset because I had no one to play with. My grandmother had made me a uniform, had me walk around the house 3 times, and met me under the mango tree and taught me. I don't know how many of you remember that little beige book with the ABC on the back of it. Oh yes, a lot of people in here know that book. So I was taught from that book. And when I got to school, at 3, I was reading. And I used to be pulled out when the education officers came. I used to be taken out, and I used to read for them. And I used to read The Gleaner for Mr. Vaz of blessed memory. I went to Vaz Prep because my mother and Mrs. Vaz went to school together. And that's why I went to Vaz Prep. But the bottom line of that story is that by the time I got to grade 2 or grade 3, I was more literate than my grandmother. Remember, she was a sugarcane worker in the fields of St. Thomas. And so that nurturing doesn't have to be nurturing with a lot of money and a lot of goods. It's just nurturing. That's important. And today, we see a lot of persons who haven't been nurtured. We see the videos that come from schools on our phones. We see the pictures in the news. And therefore, I urge you all, as members of the CCRP, and as friends and relatives of members and awardees, to nurture, particularly those children in the early childhood sector. I thank you, CCRP, for this award, and I encourage everybody to get involved in the early childhood sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Samsphone, and congratulations to you. And Brandon, too, by the way. And last but by no means least, we will now be awarding Dr. Arnaldo Ventura for his outstanding contribution to medical research and science and technology for development both locally and international. Dr. Ventura, there you are. Please come and join us up here. Be seated while the citation will be read by Brandon Howlett. Brandon?
Dr. Arnaldo Ventura has devoted his life to medical research and to the promotion of science and technology as a development tool in Jamaica and internationally. Initially educated at Windward Elementary School and Kingston College, Dr. Ventura earned his undergraduate and master's degrees at the University of the West Indies, his PhD in virology from Cornell University in New York, and a diploma from American Academy of Microbiology. Dr. Ventura began his research career as a virologist. He has made significant contributions to medical science, including detailed studies in virology, discovery of new strains of viruses, including dengue viruses, and has contributed to vaccine development and antimicrobial research. He lectured in the Faculty of Medical Sciences at UWI from 1967 to 1972 and later was an associate professor at the University of Miami. From 1977 to 1981, he served as executive chairman of the Scientific Research Council. He established science and technology on the national agenda and drafted Jamaica's first science and technology policy and plans. Dr. Ventura was special advisor to the Prime Minister of Jamaica on science and technology from 1989 to 2009. He is a founding member of the National Commission on Science and Technology, NCST, and has served as chairman of its steering committee from 1993 to 2010. During 2014 and 2015, he was an executive committee member of NCST and also a member of the technical committee of the STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics initiative of the Ministry of Education. Dr. Ventura is the architect of regional programs in biotechnology, science, and technology for poverty eradication. He lectured in technology management at the Mona School of Business, UWI, from 1992 to 2008. He has been a professor of scientific communication at the Management Institute for National Development, MIND. He co-developed the Open Campus of the University of the West Indies for leaders, managers, and decision makers. He is a founding member of the CARICOM Science and Technology Committee. Dr. Ventura is a current serving council member of the Caribbean Academy of Sciences Jamaica chapter. He is vice president of the Executive Council of the World Federation of Scientific Workers and is on the International Advisory Committee on Poverty Eradication in Small Grants Programs for UNESCO. Dr. Ventura was the first Caribbean professional to preside over the United Nations Commission on Science and Technology for Development. Dr. Ventura has also turned his attention to the use of science and technology to combat climate change, with particular emphasis on poverty eradication and social inclusion. He has published extensively over 100 scholarly papers and presentations in the fields of virology and science and technology for development. A Renaissance man, Dr. Ventura also has a keen interest in the arts, and among his publications is the poetic anthology, Memories and Musings. We take great pleasure in presenting the Jamaica 60 CCRP Living Legacy Award to Dr. Arnaldo Ventura in recognition of his outstanding contribution to medical research and science and technology for development in Jamaica and internationally.
Thank you, Brandon. Dr. Owen James will make the presentation of the award and citation.
So glad to do this. This is my friend for over 70 years.
Wow. Come a little closer this side. Let me hold these for you, sir, as you give us your reply.
Master of Ceremonies, members of the CCRP, awardees, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. When you have the name Ventura, it comes at the end. So I do know what patience is. And I'll not stretch yours this afternoon. But if you'd permit me, there are three things I'd like to say. The first one is that I came here with a certain amount of trepidations because I thought my time has come for the Long Service Award. You know that award that says, you know, how nice a fellow you are, and you get a handshake and a plaque, but behind it all it says, get out of the way for the young people. Well, that has not come to pass, and I'm very grateful for that. But I also like to thank the CCRP and to recommend that they continue this good work, because the talents and skills amongst those who are so-called retired is badly needed in a country like Jamaica that has such poor management at all levels and have children who are ascientific and who have people who are following the path of the United States in stupidity and madness. The gun culture has to go. It's an anatomy on civilized people in the world, and America must be told that. Okay, the other thing I'd like quickly to say is that the professions like mine that have its manifestations in the long and medium term often is not recognized because it appears as if nothing is happening, especially when you dabble in things as I do that are contrary to what is expected in the status quo. So I can say a special thanks to the CCRP for recognizing people like myself whose contributions may be a little bit retarded. And finally, I'd like to say thanks to all of you who have sit patiently to listen to people like me. And I must say in closing that I really welcome this plaque, and I thank you all for being here to celebrate with me. Thank you. And to my son Stephen for his great patience as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vendura. I really, I'm so very pleased to see you, sir. You are one of those persons who we've seen as young persons studying from the 70s who were advised to listen to this good man. Some of us did, and some of us made copious notes. I crave your indulgence, ladies and gentlemen, as I move the vote of thanks for this afternoon's activity. First and foremost, our deep gratitude to our Living Legacy honorees and our special appreciation awardees for reminding us of what nation building truly means. A heartfelt thanks to our sponsors, Gallagher Insurance Brokers, BPM Financial, and Procom Limited, who graciously responded to our call and enabled us to cover some of our expenses in relation to the production and presentation in a manner that is befitting to our awardees and their achievements. Thank you to our media partner, PBCJ, for enabling the streaming of this event via Facebook Live, and for the repeat broadcast that will follow. You'll hear all about it, so stand by. We also thank Susan Symes and her Symbol Productions team, who gave us a great first season of the CCRP Silver Club series. Have you been watching that? Yeah, we look forward to the next season. She was here gathering some content for our next season, so you stand by for that as well. Thank you to the CCRP Board of Directors and their tremendous support. Thank you to the Spar Martin Group again, ladies and gentlemen, our entertainment, sparkling performances. Thank you to the three young people who did the citation, Raquel and Brandon and Zara. Take a bow. Thank you to our co-signer, Antoinette. This is a face that you can't miss. Antoinette Aiken and Mrs. Valerie Magnus for her decor and her helpful advice. We would also like to thank our CCRP Procom team, Mr. Hubert Chin. He's always there working in the background. Michael Edwards, Yvonne Piper, Anita Chin, Sandra Laurie, Errol Howlett, Anika Ellis, Anika Mills, Noel Chin, and Pansy Roper, led by our Executive Chairman, Jean Laurie Chin. Please put your hands. Their coordinating skills in organizing this event is remarkable. Again, we thank the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel for that sumptuous luncheon. Clap them now. Yeah. Excellent service. Last but not least, a huge thank you to each and every one of you, our wonderful guests, for your support of this event. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is only left for me to wish you a great rest of the afternoon. I urge you to continue your support of the CCRP's work and to help our senior citizens to live their life to the fullest. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Be safe, be fabulous and wonderful. And if you're not yet a member of the CCRP, see me over there. Okay? Thank you and good afternoon.
Step